Hi, we're at Workshop 2018. I'm here with our keynote speaker, Stephen Van Zandt. He's known for his music. Little Stephen in the Disciples of Soul. He was obviously with Bruce Springsteen, but also he's an actor, director. Does a little bit of everything. And I was just telling him I like his radio station, Little Stephen's Underground Garage, if you want to watch it on satellite radio. But we're going to talk mostly about why you were speaking to our membership, what your foundation is about. First of all, what's your foundation and why did you start it?
Well, the foundation been basically dedicated to one program, one project, which is TeachRock.org. It happened kind of accidentally, to be honest. The Music Teachers of America, they were called the MENC then, came to me and said, this No Child Left Behind legislation is devastating all the arts classes. Can you go to Congress and talk to somebody? I said, I'll give it a shot, So I went and I talked to Teddy Kennedy and I talked to Mitch McConnell and I said, this legislation's, doing a bad thing. And they said, yeah, we heard. I said, well, okay, so fix it, And they were like, it's not going to get fixed. So I came back to the teachers. I said, listen, we're not going to put instruments in kids' hands for a while. We'll find other ways to do that, and we have. But I got another idea. I said, we want to keep music in the system, somehow, So let's do a music history curriculum. We can do it cross-curricular, music class, history class, social studies, English, and better yet, it applies to every kid. It doesn't have to be a musician. Every kid's into music. And I had been observing a couple of classes, and I noticed the methodology, the teaching methods weren't that different than when I grew up, I thought, man, we got to make some changes if we're going to survive. If we're going to find a way to communicate with this generation of kids, they are very different, very different.
And that was one of your messages out when you spoke.
Yeah. So I decided, okay, let's use music as the common ground. Every kid's into music, and every kid's an expert in one thing, which is their own taste, right? So let's use music. Ask the kid what he's listening to. Whatever he answers, or he or she answers, we'll trace it back. And as we trace it back, this one came from that one came from this one. And here's a little historical context about what was going on at the time of that music. And suddenly, we're finding the kids are immediately engaged, and better yet, participating. So even the shy ones, the introverted ones, doesn't matter what race they are, what gender they are, it doesn't matter.
Everyone has music.
They're all into music. So that's what we use. We use that as that common ground between the kids. First of all, rock and roll is the only art form half created by blacks, half created by whites, with a very healthy contribution by Latinos, by women, So it's a wonderful, Native Americans, it's a wonderful common ground to begin with. But then that's amongst the students themselves. But then between the students and the teachers, it's a wonderful common ground also, and it allows the teachers to be creative. We kept it flexible enough. Frankly, we had to get the teachers interested first,
right.
before they can, carry that enthusiasm to the students. We wanted them to be into it, so we made it very flexible and very much allowing their own creativity, even though we're going to meet all the state standards, and it wasn't meant to be an after-school program. It's the real thing, So we worked on it for 10 years, man, and just went public this year, and that's why we connected it to the tour for the first time. We're doing a teacher outreach program. We were obviously talking to administrators and the higher level of school boards and like today, working from the top down. But we also wanted to get on the ground with the teachers themselves. So we've been doing workshops at the show, in between the sound check and the show. They'd register, and the curriculum is free, by the way, and so is the workshop, and so is the tour. We let teachers, we put aside 400 or 500 tickets every show, and tonight it'll be even more. Tonight I think it'll be 2,000 or so.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be there.
Good. And so they come to the show if they want to. That's up to them. But the main thing is to register for the curriculum and to use it because it's just people are finding it remarkably successful in engaging the students, which I think is what it's all about with this generation.
Two things, maybe three. But the first one is, if you were a teacher and you had a young Steven Van Zandt, how would you teach that?
I wish I had. I wish I had this kind of a teacher or a class. Rock and roll was not welcome in my high school. I had a couple of teachers who were, a little bit progressive, but not too many. I mean, it was not. It was not
a different time period.
Yeah, it was a different time. And at that point, rock and roll was shocking to people. Now it's a relief, So,
and I don't know if you've seen it. I watched one of the documentaries that the students did. It was amazing that the kids can put that much time and effort. They put hundreds of hours into it, and not just during the school day. They did it on their own. The motivation from the kid, it just happened. The teacher didn't have to do anything.
That's the idea. That we want to be, eventually, if we get in enough grade levels and in enough classrooms, we want to start to affect the dropout rate. Okay, the dropout rate is epidemic when nobody's talking about it. And the statistics show if a kid likes one class or one teacher, they'll come to school. We want to be that class. We want to be that cool class, the class they look forward to. And yes, they take it beyond the school day into their private lives, like with our wonderful Sonic Highways documentaries that you talked about. Dave Grohl's our partner, and he had that wonderful series on HBO that we've adapted now for schools, where kids do documentaries about their own hometown. Yes. I love that. But also hopefully they'll take that energy into their other classes as well. Right? We want them to still learn the math and science and the other stuff, and but if they have a reason to be there that they can relate to, that changes the whole picture.
You're on the right track, because one of my jobs in the past was being an attendance officer. It's amazing how during the marching band season, those kids always came to school. The hook was the choir, football. It could be something different for every kid. So what's your message generally to the community, the education community, as we move forward? I know when you talk to our membership, it's a tough time in your view.
It's a tough time. That's why we're providing some tools for you to use. It's free. Use it. We're doing it for the teachers. I'm trying to make up for all the tough times I gave them in high school.
You may have to do it a little bit longer.
It's going to be a long program. So use it, man. Use it. It's free. Use it.
Well, we'd like to thank you for joining our members and talking to our membership. Steven Van Zandt, our keynote speaker. Thank you.
You got it.